Welcome back, West Wing fans.
Morning, everybody.
I think we had a fantastic premiere last week.
No, we really did. It was appropriately tense, right?
Yes.
And I felt like it would be tough to in the world of the show, right? The way we've kind of structured the reality of the show,
Yeah.
to pull off having a Republican sitting president at the time.
Yeah.
But the writers did it, and it was
They did do
executed
it.
really well. In other hands, this would almost seem nonsensical, right?
Sure.
But executed really well.
Honestly, I don't think they missed a beat.
No.
And that's my opinion. I know a lot of folks are kind of mixed on the later seasons without Sorkin, but I think this was great. I think this is as good as anything we've seen on the show before. It was appropriately tense, like you said. I think John Goodman had us won over the whole episode, obviously up until the retaliation point, right?
Right.
Not a good look.
They're going to kill her anyway thing was not an acceptable answer for it was a blow off answer. He might as well have just been like, don't argue with me, I'm the president. He might as well have just said that.
And he kind of has that vibe, right? Like,
right.
I mean, even in the last the finale, he was like, Mr. President, you're relieved. We'll take it from here.
Yeah, in the episode did start a running clock, right? We're retaliating at this point. We'll definitely kill Zoe if we don't rescue her by this point. So I am making the assumption then that she gets rescued in this episode before it happens.
I don't think she's gonna die.
No. There's no way. But I just mean it's not going to be like, well, we there's not going to be a change of circumstances to where she stays gone.
Sure.
Beyond this,
and I think it's great tension too.
Sure.
I think obviously when the show was airing, people didn't know there was seasons.
Right. Yeah.
So I think there might have been a real like, what is going to happen on the show?
Sure.
Because the show
there is. Yeah.
It's not strange to being dark.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what kind of plot armor Zoe has, but I feel like, you can't kill Zoe because it changes
the show.
It changes who the Bartletts are. You know what I mean? It's a different show. It's a darker show. Mm-hmm. It's why would they even stay in the job?
That's my thing.
Can you recover from that tonally? I don't think so. So I'm gonna go on a very narrow limb here because it's not that big. It's not that big of a swing. I think she gets rescued this episode.
Let's just be wrong.
Right. The other thing that they were kind of talking about was in Goodman even threatened it, right? Was the possibility of replacing the vice president while he's there.
Yeah.
Which I get why. Hey, we should not, be absent a vice president.
We should not.
If this goes on too long, we're going to have to do it. And the people in the West Wing are concerned that he's going to nominate a Republican. But I was thinking about that this week, and like logistically, you know what a bad look that would be?
Yeah.
If you, as the sitting president, basically keeping the seat warm for a Democratic president, go because he's grieving over his missing daughter.
Yeah.
You go and be like, we're going to throw a Republican vice president now. It would be a terrible look.
Bad look. I don't know if it's malicious. He's right. I mean, he's like, we need to have a vice president here.
Right, but I would expect in this circumstance, even a Republican president to nominate a Democratic vice president.
I think he will.
Maybe not the best one, right? Like, let's put someone in there that maybe isn't as shoo-in to win the next election.
You can't have it all, right?
Right, but I think it would. You would put in even as a Republican, you put in a Democratic vice president.
Look,
it's not your seat. You weren't elected.
As bad of a look it was to be like, hey, they're going to kill her anyways.
Yeah.
I think this guy's a straight shooter. I don't think he's no nonsense for sure. You know what I mean?
No.
He's not an idiot. He's not dumb.
And they said he looks presidential. And
he crushed that press conference.
John Goodman was really good casting for this role because he's an easy guy to like, and also you buy him as a bit of a dinosaur and a tyrant at the same time.
He's intimidating.
Yeah, he really is. Yeah. Just being physically imposing, really leads a lot
big
to that.
Voice.
Yeah, big voice. A lot of aura and demeanor, strong demeanor about him. Good casting. All right, we're going to go and get started here, but I do want to go and thank all of our Patreon subscribers for being here, and want to give a special shout out to Actuarial Lurker, Balas Foldes, Chris, Jeff, NJ, Surya, Gundavarapu, and Weird Magic. Thank you so much, guys. We're incredibly happy you're here with us.
We really are. And if you're watching this on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel. If you mind hit the like button for us, leave us a comment down below, and please hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on the new content we've coming your way.
If you'd like to see a full-length reaction to this and everything else we've watched or watching, please check out a link in the description below to our Patreon page. Every show, including West Wing, we are at least 4 episodes ahead on Patreon of where we are on YouTube. So if you get done watching these YouTube edits and would like to keep going, you can do it on our Patreon page. You will have to sneak and watch along on your own source material. You will only see near us for copyright purposes. We're also watching 30 Rock as a Patreon exclusive.
Yes, we are. Every time I hear Dogs of War, I think of Mad Max 2.
Right?
Still, Dogs of War.
Yeah,
Clark
Gregg.
Gregg always being some sort of agent.
He's perfect at it,
He
though.
really is.
He's a good exposition dumb guy.
He is.
All right, little President's Men-esque here.
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
I'm not unwittingly participating in the commission of a felony, am I? His numbers are gonna crater. Not level off. Crater. Like a failed Mars probe. They need to know that he is willing to sacrifice his own child's life for his country. If she dies, his approval ratings will go through the roof.
That's so dark.
It's true, but it's awful. I don't remember what time the deadline is when the attack starts.
Yeah, I can't remember how it was.
So I don't know. I don't know what the countdown is.
Morning, Lou. Leo.
Oh,
When does
William
it start?
William Devane.
I'm just waiting for word from Fitzwallace. You can't expect us to stand idly by while so many of your citizens are intent on murdering our citizens. We're bombing the Kazir training camps in Tamar and Lodi.
Oh, we're on the
Wow.
deadline. Yeah.
If you undermine us, who do you think take our place?
The devil you know, right? I mean, that's not
Very well said.
not an unfair argument.
Yeah.
Could have said I woke you. I wouldn't have thought less of you.
Sleeping is, I don't know, lacks a certain masculine, whatever.
No, it does not.
Yeah. I would kill for sleep.
We have a new speaker.
Oh, God, Halfley?
We're gonna start legislating again, Josh. Partial birth,
Well,
federal
this
funding
Halfley
for
guy,
family
too.
planning clinics.
Logan does anything by executive order, we overturn it as soon as we're back.
It's a beautiful house.
I want you to have it.
No.
It's an incredible gesture.
And 8 FA-18F Super Hornets flying off the USS George Washington in the Persian Gulf bombed 3 strategic
I'm forgetting a
targets.
lot of these guys don't have access to the military movements. They're not in the sit room.
And he was notified at 6:30 this morning that all 20 planes had successfully completed their missions and were on their way back to the George Washington.
Is there concern the bombing may force the kidnappers to kill or in any way
Yes.
harm Zoe Bartlett?
Yeah,
I don't
big
speak
time.
on their behalf, so I can't say what they will or won't do.
Now they're all going to be mad at him.
Oh yeah. I mean, I get where they're coming from, but he never would have believed this in his wildest dreams.
This is not his fault.
It's not
It's
his
the
fault.
people who kidnapped her's fault.
Of course.
There's that guy in my office.
That's Ryan. Says he works for you. Did you forget to tell me something?
Says he works for me?
That's what his pass says, too.
Ryan Pierce.
Oh,
I didn't know if I should come in
Jesse
with everything
Bradford.
that's going on.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, it's
been
been
in a
pretty
bunch of
crazy
hazards.
here.
I figured if there was a problem, somebody would have called.
I think they're planning to start legislating. Partial birth, school vouchers, maybe even Anwar. They got the votes on the Hill. The only reason they haven't moved on Medicare again is they know we'd veto. Plus, Walken's gonna ride off into the sunset as the presumptive Republican nominee.
That's true, too. I wonder if he's going to be the nominee.
Kind of seems that way.
If John Goodman's going to be in the late seasons as the nominee.
Josh,
President needs to sign the second letter and take his office back. Then we nominate a strong VP.
the man's child is missing, probably dead. He doesn't give a damn about politics
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, that last part is it.
We decided I wasn't gonna have to have interns anymore.
No, you decided.
Yeah.
Pierce is he a Pierce? Pierce?
The second one, for if Zoe doesn't, I don't want the president to know I ever asked you. But
No, of course.
That's tough.
Yeah, to write it as a hypothetical would suck.
We need a tone of defiant leadership, a return to commander-in-chief. What's the alternative? If we go 2 lines without using the phrase unimaginably large military arsenal, we're out of our minds.
You can see that, too. Yeah.
Gonna need a stimulus package.
Or revenue enhancements.
Significant tax cuts, reduction in discretionary spending.
There's the Republican swing there, yep.
You're meeting with Republican leadership again without any senior Democrats or cabinet members present?
If you're uncomfortable serving as my chief of staff, Leo, feel free to recuse yourself until I'm gone.
All right. That didn't go well.
No, that doesn't go well for either one of them.
6 more American boys are dead. And that doesn't make you angry?
Of course that makes me angry!
Returning violence with violence only multiplies violence,
Yeah.
adding deeper
Historically true.
darkness to a night already devoid of stars. Dr. King wasn't wrong. He just didn't have your job.
You're in the job where violence is sometimes part of it.
Yeah.
Your son's sacrifice for his country, for the safety and security of us all, will not soon be forgotten, sir. When do I get to the fun part of being president, Debbie?
The fun part, sir.
Yeah, flying around in Air Force One, I never wanted to be president of the United States.
Neither did Mr. Truman.
They didn't necessarily portray Truman in the best light in Oppenheimer.
No, not at all.
You're campaigning in the middle of a national tragedy. Zoe Bartlett's out in a field breathing through a straw. You're test driving sound bites for the next election?
We're not stupid, Josh. We try to use this to our advantage, it'll blow up in our faces.
Exactly what I was saying, yeah.
Contrast to Bartlett's extraordinary gesture of courage and patriotism.
What happened?
Al Jazeera has a tape of Zoe.
They first broadcasted 4 minutes ago.
What's he saying? We're sure that's her.
It's her.
Andy says if every American soldier is not out of Kumar in 24 hours, they are going to shoot her.
Okay, so you got another 24 hours, I guess.
All right.
What are you working on?
The speech for when you come back.
Don't tell him about the second draft, the second version.
Yeah.
Where's the other one? What other one?
Well, he knows. Of course he knows. He's not dumb. He knows.
Well,
God, that'd be so tough to read.
Well,
the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. You mind if I take this with me?
We may have something.
Mr. McGarry, sir. Admiral, the FBI are on their way over. They think they found Zoe Bartlett.
oh, thank God.
Oh my God. I feel as good as he does right now.
You would think they'd maybe want to go for more of a stealth situation on this one.
Well, I think that it's over.
Oh, it's okay. They got it then. Okay.
Yeah.
That's 2 shows today where we just
No. Dude, watching Human Angst really gets me secondhand. I'm a secondhand in with this angster.
Me too.
You ready to do this?
Yes, sir.
I'd be thanking him. Like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
You gonna run again?
I haven't decided.
If you do, let me know. I'll come campaign for you. Thank you.
I have the
Man of true
final
integrity.
version of your speech for your review, Mr. President.
I won't need it. I'm gonna use the one from last night.
Last night, sir?
I hope we get to hear the speech.
Me too.
Nice office.
So they kind of have a look at it.
But now we can rejoice and be glad, for that which was lost has been found. That my child is back in her mother's arms.
Oh, I'm glad that Charlie's there.
Me too.
All I can promise you is that I will fight with every fiber of my being.
It's a cool shot to have that in the background there.
Arsenal.
It didn't let us keep that that satisfying speech moment where like, yes, we're back. It's hopeful. It ending on Abby's face like that is a choice.
Yeah, it was, and I'm glad that the speech was more somber than let us rejoice. Right? It really was. It's like, yeah, this worked out well, but let us all understand that the world is a dangerous place right now.
Yeah, and I think that the conversation we had briefly in the episode about violence is, it's very relevant. It's not black and white. Sometimes it is, but at the same time, I think in this show and in real life, it is complicated.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And while we're not advocates of violence, I think that them getting her back, I think that resolution they had with them getting it back, those people don't deserve the others.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, they're in the world of geopolitical politics, violence is a thing that's going to happen sometime.
Monsters live among us.
Yeah, it's not. We're not all sitting at the round table, and everybody answers according to reason.
Sure.
There are cults and madmen in the world that have followers and that have governments and that have countries, and it's going to get ugly. Out of necessity, it's going to get ugly.
We live a very 21st century. We live cushy lives, and I think that it's we forget sometimes that that's the way the world works. So
yeah, I mean, there's always a war going on somewhere. Yeah,
there's a couple.
Yeah.
But in terms of this episode, I thought it was fantastic. This shows it remains subtle.
Yeah,
they don't really they rarely go big on the show, right? We don't see big grandiose action sequences. We get sometimes we do get that, obviously, at the end of season 1. if you want to call that an action scene, I would say that it is. I mean, it's tense. There's a lot happening in the scene.
Yeah, but that involved the cast. Like
Exactly.
this wouldn't have,
no,
right? So yeah, I mean, the show's called The West Wing. You know, it's about following these people.
Even
it's not about
on the Sharif assassination. That was still being cross cut with Bartlett.
The procedural of rescuing Zoe Bartlett isn't the show. That wasn't what it was about.
And I love that the showrunners that took over from Aaron Sorkin, they're still honoring that.
Yep.
You know, the show's different, but at the same time, it's still The West Wing.
Right. Absolutely. I think that obviously we've only seen kind of like a two-parter here, to start the season. But yeah, I think that we're seeing kind of progression of the show that hasn't like really strayed too much from the style or the cadence is the same.
Yeah.
The dialogue is handled the same.
Yeah.
The characters seem to be the same. I think that it feels consistent. I think that the biggest difference that we noticed in the last two episodes is the camera work.
Yeah.
And that's more director really than writing anyway. It's a show running show.
Sure.
So we'll veer farther as we go. We'll because what we need now, because basically we've wrapped up storylines. We're wrapping up storylines that were Aaron Sorkin storylines.
And they're done.
The question then is, except for the vice president one, right?
Sure.
But the question now is, how do you do new storylines?
This is where it gets tough.
How does it look now when we need to have new emerging plots rather than just wrapping up the old ones?
This is the hard job.
Right, yeah, and that's where I think that's where we're going to kind of have to make a determination of the direction of the show, right?
Yeah.
Not how we handle the older plots, but how we handle the new stuff we need to come up with.
Sure, and I know obviously Aaron Sorkin has said that he's like, I don't really know how I would have resolved that question.
Exactly.
I don't buy it. I think that maybe it wasn't fully fleshed out.
Sure.
But of course, he's not going to sit here and be like, this is how I would have done it, because it just would have caused more discourse around the show, right?
Right.
And I respect him for keeping that to himself. But I am curious to see how he would have resolved the situation.
Sure.
We'll never know. And I applaud him for keeping that to himself. But at the same time, I like this resolution. I really enjoyed these first two episodes of the season.
Absolutely.
And I'm excited to see how the rest of the show pans out, because now we're in uncharted territory.
Right. Now we got to see, like, okay, who and how do we bring in the new vice president? Because I think how that storyline is handled is going to give us an indication of how the rest of the show is going to go, kind of. In that it's like, all right, now we've got new creative, basically, coming in with a new storyline. Let's see how we do with that.
Yeah.
All right. Catch you on the next one, guys.
See ya.